Hey everyone, I'm doing a quick video on one of the homework examples that looks like people maybe are having a little difficulty with. So this says find an equation of the graph sketched. So we know we have an exponential function. Well, first we're in that chapter, but we know we have an exponential function, and this is the general form. Okay, but we know it doesn't look like an exponential function that is our base function, y equals a b to the x. It doesn't look like our regular growth function. And it also doesn't look like sort of our regular decay function, right? That would mean that my b value is less than 1. So we have a little bit of a transformation going on here. So if I had just my regular function, it would look something like this. Function here looks like it's reflected. I don't have a horizontal asymptote at 0. So how do I start this? Well, the first thing that I like to do is to figure out where is my asymptote. So if I look here, it looks like I have an asymptote at y equals 2. I see that my function is coming up this way. If I go to the left, it's approaching 2, but never equaling 2. So that tells me, I always do that first, what is the horizontal asymptote? My asymptote is d equals 2. So I've kind of got that piece of the equation. Now it becomes like all the other problems that we've been solving. If I take 2 points, I can figure out this part of the expression. So let's pick 2 points. I'm going to start with the y-intercept if I can. That seems to be nice right here. If I put in 0 for x, I get a y0. So that point is 0, 0. So I'm going to start there. I can substitute that in. I'm going to take this general form, f of x equals a b to the x plus d. But I've already figured out what d is. Anyway, so I'm going to take my point. My x is 1. My y is 0. And I'm just going to plug that into my formula here. That's my x. If I put x in, 0 in for x. All right. And then if I take my y value, I'm going to put 0 in for y. Like I said before, I already know what d is because I got it up here by looking at the graph visually. D equals 2. So I'm going to substitute 2 in for d. Okay. I know that any base raised to the 0 power is equal to 1. So b to the 0 is equal to 1. So I can just substitute 1 in for b to the 0. That's going to leave me with a times 1, right? Plus d. D is 2. Let me just highlight that. Right? I just said d is 2, and I just plugged in d is 2 there. So now what I can do is I just have an expression or an equation that only has a. I can solve for a. If I subtract 2 from both sides, I've got my first piece, a equals 2. All right, so that's helpful. So now I have d and I have a. I just need to solve for b. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take my second point. I'm going to look at the graph and I'm going to see where is a nice point. I could take, there's another point down here, but I'm going to take the one that has sort of smaller numbers. So when x equals 1, y equals -2, right here, I'm going to use that as my second point. My goal here is because I have a, the other piece I need is b. So I'm just going to plug this point into my general form here. Okay, that's all I've done here. So I have my x value is 1. Okay, so if I plug in 1 for x, my y value is 2. I'm going to plug in 2 for y. All right, but I know I already solved for d. D is 2, so I'm going to plug that in down here. All right. I put a 2 in for d. And I know I've already solved for A over here. So if I'm going to plug that value in, I'm going to put A equals 2, right? In this case, D equals 2 from here. And this is my Y value here. Okay. And this is my X value here, 1. All right, so now I can just solve for what my B value is. So I have B to the first. Anything to the first power is just itself, is just B. All right, so that gives me negative 2 times B here. Yeah, let me write it. Negative 2B plus 2 equals negative 2. If I subtract 2 from both sides, I get here negative 2b equals negative 4. Divide both sides by negative 2, I get b equals 2. So now I have both my pieces, or all three of my pieces. I have A, I have B, I have D. I'm just going to substitute them into my general form. Okay, B equals 2 right here. That's my B value equals 2. And then I have A here equals negative 2. And I have D from up here equals 2. I just plug them in and I'm done.